they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume, made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for more than 300 denarii, and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put in it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial." You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me. So a man was a farmer had a big farm. This back in the late 20s, early 30s, during the Depression, and a knock on the door. Man was outside, and he said, "Sir, can you spare me some food? I haven't had a meal in days." The farmer said, "Son, I've made my fortune in the world by never giving anything away for free. I do have on the back of my house, you'll find some paint and a paintbrush. You can paint my porch. And after that, I'll give you a good meal." And the man walked out back to the house, found the paint, and about an hour or two later, he knocked on the door. And he was surprised at how fast, quickly he painted his porch. And, "Sit down, I'll have the cook bring you a good meal." But I have to, I'm just amazed at how quick you worked. He says, "Well, I sure appreciate the meal coming, thank you. But I have to say, you don't know much about cars. That's not a Porsche back there, that's a Cadillac." So, I think the guy's name was Oli. Yeah, it wasn't a Porsche, it was a Cadillac. Sometimes, some people hear only part of what you say, or there's a misinterpretation. And I know I preached on this gospel Sunday, the anointing of Jesus. But I kept thinking back, I know I asked the question, what would you do for, a year's wages? For Beltrami County, it's like $45,000 or $46,000 a year. What would you do with it, And I came across this. A British efficiency expert attended a symphony concert in the Royal Festival Hall and wrote a review. And it made the newspaper kind of tongue-in-cheek. This is an efficiency expert. Someone who comes into a company, whatever company, usually a factory, and studies the workforce and go, okay, how can we make this more efficient and make more money? And he said, there seems to be much repetition in some of the musical passages. Scores should be drastically pruned. No useful purpose is served by repeating on the horns at a passage which has already been handled by the strings. If all the redundant passages were eliminated, the whole concert time of 2 hours could be reduced to 20 minutes. And there would be no need for an intermission. For considerable periods, the 4 oboe players had nothing to do. That number should be reduced and the work spread more evenly over the whole of the concert, thus eliminating peaks in activity. All 12 violins were playing identical notes. This seems unnecessary duplication. The staff of this section should be drastically cut. If larger volume of sound is required, it could be obtained by electronic apparatus. The conductor agrees generally with these recommendations, but has expressed the opinion that there might be some falling off at the box office. In that unlikely event, it should be possible to close sections of the auditorium entirely, with a consequent saving of overhead expenses, lighting, attendance, and so on. If worse comes to worse, the whole concert could simply be abandoned. Indeed. Tongue-in-cheek, right? But what was it about? Mary sets forth in this act of devotion, of extravagance, a model for Christian discipleship. Willing to pour out herself. The Sunday text coming up for this coming Sunday, Palm Sunday, is Philippians 2, where Paul says, even though Jesus was in the form of God, the form of God, the body of God, the same exact substance of God, he did not count that equalness, that sameness, as something to be exploited, used to his advantage. But he emptied himself. And the word there is used to describe something pouring out of a pitcher to the ground, pouring it out. Just taking a 5-gallon pail of sap. Where's I know Jerry Tank's a sapper, maple syrup. Taking that bucket and pouring it out. It's all mine. That's what Paul says Jesus did for us. He poured himself out. The history of the church is the history of men, women, young and old, even children, who were willing to use what they had, to not hold back, to not wait, and to pour themselves out into their lives in devotion. The Bible is filled with stories of extravagant waste. What does the Psalm says? You made Leviathan, the sea monster, just for the sport of it, just for fun, just for fun. I like that. Why did God make that Leviathan, the sea creature? Well, just for the sport of it. What's it all about? Mary pours out costly perfume again. If you anointed the head, you're a king. She doesn't. It's for his burial. And so it is at the cross that we've been focusing on these last couple of weeks during Lent. And every Lent we focus on the cross. That shows the extravagance of God. Your only Son, our Savior, His only Son, our Lord, who was given and shed for us. It also gives us an example of the gifts that we have, that we can share. Because what Jesus did, it didn't go to waste. It looked wasteful, but his life was for the life of the world, for you and me. And because of that, our lives have meaning. Our work that we do, the lives we share with our families, our neighbors, our friends, our church, our community, have meaning, have purpose. It can be used up, not wasted, but used to the one who has given us life. What do we do when we focus on the cross? Or what we do when we focus on the cross is to learn again of what God's economy is all about. God cares enough for the one. God cares enough for the sinner to leave the 99 in the wilderness, to rejoice when the one is lost, to be the father who waits for the son and runs out meeting him. And that's why Jesus told those parables. That's why Jesus told those stories throughout this Lenten time, to remind us that there's always room to return. As the prophet said, return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious, and he is merciful, and he is waiting with open arms. Thanks be to God. Amen.